card's a little bit different. As you can see, it's got a rounded frame to it, so it's got some dimension. It's probably the type of card that you'd want to give to a friend at work or a neighbor rather than trying to post, but I think it's a nice technique to show, so I thought I would make a video for you to see how it's done. So today's project uses the Cathedral Background. We're also going to be using the Zoe die from the Frames and Tags. Got some little teeny flowers scattered across it from the Orange Blossom Complete Petals. I'm going to be using the Teresa Collins paper pad that has been done specifically for Creative Expressions. I just want to show you some of the different designs in here. There's some absolute gorgeous papers in here. And what I love about this pad is that these designs have been made smaller, so they're perfect size for your card projects. Absolutely gorgeous. And the Delightful Sentiments, which is the clear stamp set we'll be using. Okay, let's pop these to the side. First up, I'm going to cut the Cathedral Background out of a piece of coconut white card. So we'll bring our cutting plate over. Okay, pop that into place. Just sort of eyeball it in the center there. And I'm going to be using the cutting inside edge there. So I'm going to tape that into place as well. Get that nice and centered. In fact, let me get some fresh tape. Make sure that's stuck down well. Okay. Run it through the grand caliper. Check that. Looks cut well. I'm going to do a quick emboss with it. Change that out, put my tan mat on. All right. Let's take all our tape off. And even though it is removable tape, you do want to peel it back slowly. Get that one. Oops. Let's try that again from this side. Take my center out. Put that back onto our magnetic sheet. Now you can see I've got a beautifully cut background. Let me take that little guy out. We'll do a little bit of tidying, then we'll move on. Put that in there. Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to do is going to add some acetate to it. I think the easiest way to do this is to add some spray glue to the back of this. So let's give this a spray. I'm just going to center a piece of acetate. So I have a little bit of excess on either side. There we go. Give it a nice press. And we'll cut the center of that out as well. Bring that cutting plate back over, and the oval that we used, seat that back into the die. Just wiggle it around till you're sure it's in the same exact position. There we go. I'm going to give it a bit of tape there and there. And run that through. Now, not all acetates will cut with dies, so it needs to be fairly thin to have the die go through it cleanly. You might even need to touch it up a little bit with your scissors. Let's see if we've cut okay with this one. Let's see. Oop. I think I've got just a little bit, yes, that we're going to need to tidy with our scissors here. There we go. Okay. You can use that for something else later. Now, the next thing you want to do is score this or fold this backwards. Now if you have a scoreboard, you can run your stylus down that and just make a nice line. But I'm going to just give it a fold along the edge there, like that, and a fold along the edge like this one. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of a grippy piece. Now I've done one ahead of time that's a little cleaner, so I think I'll move to that one. And we are going to bring in our background that we'll attach it to. So I've used a piece of the Teresa Collins paper here, and I like this aqua tone here. I'm going to cover it with some self-adhesive sticky sheet. Just get it started. I'm going to try and line this up and peel it down. Make sure I'm right at the edge of this. That looks relatively straight. Won't show top and bottom too much, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to use some micro beads. Bring those over, and then let's just peel the edge of this upward. There we go. Give it a bit of texture. And that's just as simple as dipping it into the micro beads. Getting all the sides there. And then while you're over the container, just rub your finger over and take off any extra bits that may not be adhered very well, and they'll fall right back into place. There we go. Now I love the way that adds just a little bit of texture. They're clear so you can see your pattern through it, but it's very, very pretty, I think. So next I'm going to pop this around the edge, and using a bit of just regular tape. It's a little fiddly to get started at first, but you do one side and then the other. Now this piece has been cut slightly shorter than my background, about 1/4 inch. So depending on how much pop you want, if you want it a little less high, keep it a little longer. If you want it even higher than that, cut it a little shorter, but you'd be surprised how much difference just 1/4 inch will make. And then let's get this bent over and taped into place. I'm just going to hold this and add a little bit of tape to the edge. Okay. Just make sure that I've got that edge down. Okay. I'm going to bring in my base, and I've added a bit of mounting foam to the back. So let me peel the backing off of that. And there we go. Pop that into my pierced base. Oops, let's get that straight. That looks nice. Okay, so now we're going to work towards the center of the card. I have already gone ahead and cut the Zoe die into a frame, and I've done the white decorative piece with a white backing on that. I've stamped my sentiment, and I'm going to cover it with a little piece of the sticky adhesive sheet. Just get the backing peeled off on that. There we go. Pop that right over my words. Peel off the other side of the backing. Oop, let me get a hold of that. There we go. And we're going to do a bit of micro beads onto that as well. There we go. These sticky sheets have been made so they're specifically designed to hold those micro beads into place because of the weight. So absolutely beautiful with that. Let me peel off my foam backing on my Zoe die. We're going to raise that up over the sentiment. And like we do with glitter, same thing with micro beads. We want to make sure we put an extra bit of glue there so it will adhere nicely. Pop that into place. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give that just a second to set up because I don't want those micro beads to slip off. So I'm going to bring my frame back in the meantime and start to add some of the flowers. Now I've just cut a lot of these little orange blossoms, added a tiny little highlight of worn lipstick in the center before putting on my pearl. And we can put some dots of glue all around here and just pick up some of the areas where we're going to put some flowers. Just get a second on here. And I like to just kind of randomly scatter them across my frame. one in there. And kind of just offset them a little bit so they look like they're just meandering up the frame a bit. There we go. There's another one. Maybe one more here. Let's add that right about like that. Give that a second. And we'll move over to this side and add a few. Maybe over here, we'll pop one in the corner. A little more glue right there. Give that a second to set up. Cover this one right here. Okay, so this should be tacky enough right now. Pop that right over our sentiment. Give it a second. And we'll trim away the edge. So just sort of hold it into place and it can kind of set up at the same time. Trim around and underneath your frame, always with your scissors at an angle. There we go. And a little more glue on the back of that. Get that nice and sticky through the center of our card. And we'll just finish that off with a few more flowers. In fact, let's just do 3. Do one up here and a couple down in the corner. Pop that into place. Right through the center here, we can do that one. And let me pick this little edge up right here. There we go, make sure that's all nice and stuck. So now it's been nicely framed there with our curved frame going around it and the micro beads. Just love the way that looks. It's so different, and you could give this to anybody that you wouldn't have to post a card to, and I'm sure they would just adore it. Well, that's it for today's video, and I hope you'll join us again soon. We have a Creative Expressions YouTube channel with all of my videos on it and a Facebook page, so go ahead and like us on our Facebook page.